The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the New Media Factory. Some programs on this network might include strong images and language and may not be suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
And good evening. Welcome back to Counterflow. I'm James Deacon.
I'm Alan Sevilla.
Pacho Blanco.
And as you can see, I'm the only one who showered since the last show.
And we're still wearing the same clothes.
Absolutely. Download it and you'll see these guys are wearing the same thing. And so I'm
There's
just
no way
back
out because
up a
they can
second.
see us. But it's because, why don't we tell them already that James is leaving
No, we don't have to.
for Brazil.
We don't have to. Yeah, let's keep them in suspense. No. We're here at Beyond the Box, which is in One Rockwell. We're broadcasting to you from here, and it's
New Media Factory. We're inside Beyond the Box.
Inside Beyond
the
the
studio
Box.
is called the New Media Factory.
Absolutely, and we can be found on New Media or NMFnetwork.tv. And the show, of course, will be available for download by tomorrow. So there you go. All right.
No, for this show, it's next week.
You know what I mean. Okay, let's come
it's
clean.
tomorrow.
We are
Yeah,
we are recorded.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
We are recorded. So
now I'm confused.
yeah.
Yeah.
At least there's no race in between the time we're recording, because then we have to predict the results.
Yeah,
And
you're
talk
right.
about it like, wasn't that a great pass?
No, the
by
best,
so-and-so?
the best thing that we can do right now, let's talk about. Okay, it's been happening since last week.
A lot's been happening. I had a coffee. And then, I was back. What did you guys do? All right, we're recording this show because I'll be, right now I'm in Brazil. And there's no way that rolls off the tongue easy. I'm in Brazil right now. I'm not here. I'm in the Brazil Motor Show. And so, of course, after our last show, we had to go straight into a recording. So we've got our special...
How's it going?
Brazil? It's
Yeah.
nice. It's really nice.
What did you get to drive there?
Okay, enough. Stop putting me in the spot. This is Counterflow, and we're on our second hour. So if we look a little tired, it's because it's
It is. We've been recording since.
we've been here. I would like to start off by really talking a little bit about the last show. We had an hour and 20 show, even though we were trying to trim it down quite a lot.
You just can't, because there's just so many things to talk about with Attorney Eves. Of,
I have to say, what an interesting guy. I mean, really, you didn't think somebody who sort of managed traffic and stuff like that, or traffic discipline, could be that cool. I mean, the guy's basically a software genius, app developer, and communications expert. And, he's a young guy, and he's trying to reform the MMDA. And we had him on the show. If in case you missed it, you can still download it. But we learned a lot of stuff there. We can recap, because there are obviously going to be some new viewers. Actually, where did you pick up from that show?
No, actually, what he said, it's very, very interesting. It's what we were talking about last time. They were saying remember we were saying that the buses should have an elevated stop.
Well,
so
first
like
he said that we
be.
should segregate the buses. I said yes, we
Yeah.
should segregate them, put them in the Spratlys, and then we can stay here in Manila. But apparently that's not going to work. So the next one was elevated, right?
Yeah, that was something that he said. And then, he was talking about, the position for the bus stop.
The bus stops, yeah.
Yeah. I thought that when Alan said about the position of the bus stop, you were mentioning this one and this one and this one and covering the whole stop before you took the thing.
No.
But no, it's not,
No.
Yeah.
It's not.
But he said, they're going to secretary between A, B, and AB. Right?
Yes, okay, here.
All the buses will not always stop every...
Yeah,
every stop.
it's going to be staggered. So if you picture, I mean, instead of them all sort of doing first corner like they do,
There's only 5 buses allowed per bus stop.
Because so in other words, it's like if you were in an F1 race. If you can picture it like this, it's like, okay, teams 1 to 10, you're allowed to fight the first corner, but then 10 to 22 only for second corner you can start. It's staggering it so that you don't all end up bunched up into one spot, because what's happening is like first corner, they jockey for position, and then everyone's there, and then it's a dash to the next customer, and then the next customer, and next passenger. So what they're going to do is try a staggered approach. That, I think, might help. Then he mentioned the elevated bus stops.
Yes.
Once again, I think it's a brilliant idea. It comes down to enforcement, and we shared this with Attorney Eves about enforcement. He's all for it. He understands the problems. He's not naive to it, which is great. He understands that you know, they're actually considering now having a roving, which they have someone, but they're just considering getting a really tough military guy that he knows that to actually go out roving to check on these people to make sure that they're doing their jobs, because you know sometimes it can get very disheartening out there in the heat of the day.
However, I was mentioning him, you know, before he left last week.
Last week, yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Okay.
There is this traffic enforcer in EDSA,
Yeah.
near Ortigas, basically across Audi. I seen him always there and everything. He's a really hardworking guy.
Yeah.
He really, I mean, he's a good example of people. But yeah, unfortunately, not everybody's like that, you know. But you know, there are some.
And he
traffic
actually knew the
enforcers-
guy, right? He actually knew the guy. He knew who you were talking about.
Yes.
And
knew
he
who
knows
was
that
it.
that guy is really a hardworking guy.
Yeah. So I wanted to mention to him because you know he's also. I mean, it's good also to give a good feedback of somebody who's really working hard and everything, right?
You know, that's a good point. If in case we all Twitter the guy, email the guy about the bad things. If you come across a nice MMDA officer, somebody doing his job, you know,
Yeah.
send that too. Give him some encouragement because it's an
It's
uphill
tough.
it's an uphill climb. Another thing that we learned about is, which is really frustrating, is you know they're trying their best to implement rules to please the public, only to be undermined
by the local government.
by another local government. So, for example, you have a jeepney terminal that they're trying to manage and then trying to take them out, but then they have a local permit to do so. And anyway, all we can ask for, I guess, is patience. But that doesn't mean to say that they're not open to feedback, of course.
Yeah. Aside from patience, I believe you know every motorist out there, you know, you have some responsibility to
You have
be
to
able
contribute,
be able
yeah.
to make things better. You know, sometimes if you can give way, if you can, you know, just don't block intersection, you know, try to help. You know, we have a certain area that we can actually help.
Yes, we can. We have to do our bit, and I also learned a lot from, well, his apps. He has developed some great apps which keep you connected to the MMDA, not just in terms of communicating with them, but also.
Were you able to use it last week? No, just kidding.
I can see this is going to be the theme of the show.
And you know what's good about the programs of the MMDA? They have Twitter, they have Facebook.
They're not in Brazil though. They don't.
They have the MMDA app, and it's a great feature.
It's a great feature. We also clarified a rule that a lot of people have been asking us, which once again should have been a question that answered itself. But you know, we made sure it was answered properly. Motorcycles are subject to the same road rules as any four-wheeled vehicles, with the exception, of course, of unique things like helmets and no slippers and blue lane, etc. But basically, a no right turn or a no left turn or a one-way street applies to every single motorcycle. So if you see them going down the wrong side of the road and being let by an MMDA officer, you can always tweet. You can Twitter the guy. You can email him, or you can contact us, and we'll pass it on through to them because.
All four-wheel vehicles have also the same rules. No matter if it's a jeepney or a
armored cars,
armored trucks as well.
And we learned some challenges that they have with the armored vehicles.
But don't you think that's crazy? They're the MMDA and the guards from
but that's
that are brandishing their pistols. It's like, what
can we
the
tow
hell
your
is
car
this?
because it's blocking the intersection and then you're there and you think better.
No, he says the term is I'm loaded.
Yeah, I'm
well,
loaded.
it says here no loaded and unloaded zone, so it cannot be loaded. So. Yeah, but you know what I mean. They are. How do you, if you're earning that kind of money and you come across an armed guard?
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough, and these are the challenges that they have to face. I'm not here to make excuses for, or now that we're overly sympathetic just because we got our coding exemption. No, we didn't.
Only you, James.
I'm just kidding. I'm just teasing everybody.
You cannot even use it because you're in Brazil.
We did not get any coding exemption cards, so they didn't. It's really, it's not about. It's just about trying to understand both sides of the story and stuff like that. Because sometimes in the understanding, you can be a little bit more tolerant and patient. But remember that you have your bit to do. If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. I always say.
There you go.
Okay. Well, what did we do last week aside from Brazil? I was gonna show you some stuff from the Toyota factory in Germany. This is the motorsports factory that they have there, and let me show you a couple of exciting things here. We're just gonna put this up on screen. I was able to visit TMG, or the Toyota Motorsports Group, and This was sitting right there in the foyer. We can enlarge this already because this was the car that was supposed to win the 2010 championship.
Okay.
This is not according to Toyota. This is according to just about every simulation conducted by even several independent companies, because I remember there was a team that were desperately trying to buy this car because it was so well built, and that was a car that never raced.
Oh,
Sad,
boy.
unlike the bronze that happened with Honda, remember? Okay, they kept all their cars from 2000 all the way up to 2009. Of course, the 2010 never made it. This is just a wonderful place to hang out in. All their F1 cars are there. All their the last one there signed by everybody. They even their pit wall, their communications team, the rally cars. Look at those beautiful rally cars. Mike Potenchan is getting excited already. All these more F1 cars here. These, oh man, just stunning to just witness all this motorsports action.
And that was a question. And someone won the Motul product already. What was the question again, James? What
what was
that
the
for?
question? We didn't give Motul in the last show, did we?
Yeah, we
Again.
never did.
You know, we have to have a sign on our foreheads already.
Yeah, we always
Motul.
announce that we're going to give away Motul
All right.
products and we always
We have
forget.
to come up with a question.
Yeah, let's come up with a question for this one. I promise we'll give that Motul today, which is next week. Which is, you know what I mean. What was this? I'll ask our guest later on if he knows what this is, because I don't know if he saw our Facebook page, but our guest should know what that is. I'm gonna ask later on. Toyota 86, a race car. This is fantastic. 38.
What's the difference? Did they tweak the
No,
engine?
no. Engine is stock. This is like a Group N, or what do you call Group B?
Yeah, Group N.
Group N. So they can't
One.
touch the engine, etc. They just touch the suspension a little bit, roll cage, of course, and made it race ready. The seat, steering wheel, etc. And that just looks like a sweet handling car. And that's
It's
just
a
in
very good looking, man.
beautiful, and very functional. Okay, then they had that's the Le Mans hybrid car. That car is just that one almost won. It took the lead in Le Mans
Yeah.
overall. I mean, like it overtook the Peugeot, and then one of the cars just crashed into it, and it retired.
The
from
LFA.
lead. The LFA as a Super GT car.
That one?
Yeah, they're this is in TMG, so they're turning that into a Super GT car.
Wow.
See, how awesome would that be? So just some of the wonderful things that you see inside the former F1 factory that they used to build those F1 cars in, and that is inside the Toyota Motors.
Pretty
No
much the same
Supras?
colors, right, James, for our local 86s that we get.
Yeah, pretty much.
No
much, yeah.
Supras?
Okay, interesting. Good thing you asked, Pacho. There is the chief engineer, Tada-san, who
Okay.
developed the car, told a group of journalists that were there. I was there in the same group, and he said the Toyota 86 is part of Toyota's strategy to come up with 3 sports cars.
Oh,
Yeah.
the Supra is there.
A lower one, and then this is the middle, 86, and then a higher one. So he said Supra, and he smiled. So it's either Supra or Celica. I'm not sure where the Celica might fit, but he seemed to smile when we said Supra.
Celica will be at the bottom, and then
But Celica would be considered higher than an 86, wouldn't it? I mean, wouldn't you rate
No,
if
no,
you rated it?
not now
really.
with the development of the new 86. I
No,
think
but in the
it's-
hierarchy, the 86 nameplate, right, was at the same time as the Celica. The Celicas were always more, and wouldn't you think they had bigger engines? Weren't they 2-liter
Yeah,
at that
we-
time? And then they went up, I think, to 2.2.
the 18RG. I remember the.
So I would think it's either the Supra or the Celica, but
Supra is a Supra, man. I mean,
yeah, and
even until now.
but the thing
you
is,
know,
he said
that-
they're already in the works.
Oh, that's
But so he just can't say much more than that. In fact, I think he said too much actually. So
Wow.
yeah, very interesting stuff. You had some concerns about the local Toyota.
The logo.
86.
No, actually, someone posted on our Facebook page, and his name is Bob. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Sahot or Sajon.
Okay.
He says here, why do some, maybe, new car dealerships work on the in-house financing, gets first dibs or else fall in line forever policy and get away with it? And to be honest with you, James, I have friends who ordered the new 86, and it's just surprising because there are a lot of horror stories, a lot of sad stories, because like a friend of mine ordered the 86. He ordered for the base model, which is 1.550. And after patiently waiting for a couple of months, he received a text from the dealership. It said that your car is already here. And he was just shocked when he saw the bill. Actually, they charged him, it says there in the text, I saw it myself, that comes with accessories and the amount is 2.168.
Yeah, from 1.5.
But and the thing is, what if you're not interested with the accessories? It's not like you can just take it off. What about the body kits that have been installed already? So if you're gonna take that out, there's gonna be holes there. You can't. But the thing is, he's just surprised that he specifically said that I'm getting the base model. So naturally, he didn't have the money to afford for that's a huge difference. 2.168 to
No, it's
1.550.
because you're right, because for me the whole appeal of the car is, well, it's a beautiful car, there's no doubt about it. I love the car, but you know, the whole appeal of the car is the bang for your buck. So if you have to pay 2.1 million, it upsets the whole balance is out. The formula is wrong. It's like when Nissan brought in the 350Z here, and everyone was like, hey, wow, this is fantastic, they charge 4 million for it. It's like,
it's just too much.
Guys, hello, wake up call. It is a good car, but it was a good car at $30,000, not at
That's why I didn't sell that much
$100,000.
here.
So they're like, oh, but everyone likes it. No, we like it because of the price. You don't get it. It's like they can't tamper with that formula. In fact, look at the Miata. When the Miata came out, the new one, a beautiful car indeed, one of the sweetest handling cars. But 2 million, it was 2.1.
2.1.
It crossed over that line. And all of a sudden, the magic was gone. The magic was
It's
missing.
basically the same
exactly.
category.
And it's not because it's a bad car.
No, it's just
It's not because it's a bad car. It's a really good car, and top down, electronically and everything. But yeah, it's just out of the bracket.
it's
And you know what's puzzling with some of the dealers, if you have enough cash to afford for the 1.550 or let's say the 2.168, some of them would want you to make a 20% down payment and has to be financed for you to be able to buy the car. And there have been reports.
I have a short answer to that whole thing. It goes down to where does a 500-pound gorilla sit? Anywhere it wants.
Yeah.
And this is a sad case when you have a situation where you have a top-selling popular model. They tend to milk it for all it's worth, and it is wrong, because yes, you can make hay while the sun shines now, but what happens when you don't have those super hot models anymore? You are going to want to rely on your customer base, the loyalty, etc. It's good to know that the dealers, the actual manufacturer, is disciplining the dealers who do this. Now, this does not say that a lot are slipping through the cracks, but those dealers should be warned that that's just it's bad business practice. It happened before with several other models, and just saying, when you start having to rely back on your customers and you don't have those models that sell themselves, you're going to find it hard, because what is easy to do, you can claim it now because it's so easy to sell, but market share is very hard to get back. If, like I say, once the popular model goes down, and then you've left a bad taste in people's mouth, and then you start to lose that market share, believe me, that's the hardest thing any company wants to face, is bring that back. So hopefully the dealers will start to behave, because it's bad practice. I know several columns being written about that as we speak.
And even my friends who wrote to James, I was just...
Yeah, no, they're right. And I brought it up in columns before, and I plan to do a new one because it's obviously happening again. And really, it's bad business practice. Anyway, we have a ton of guests here to get through, so let's play a video, and because once again it's always going to be awkward when people climb over. So if we can get our video sort of set up there, we will just put this on.
Go ahead.
Gangnam Style.
Oh. Let's put that back. And we will need to get our first guest as this video plays.
Okay,
we will need our first guest to come up here. Sorry.
Gangnam Style.
There we go.
We have to
put on the big screen.
James.
Oh. Okay. I think Pacho deliberately did something.
No, I didn't.
I think it's okay. I think Pacho deliberately sabotaged the machine.
Because we kept playing his video. It's been 2 shows already.
Since last week, I went out for a coffee. All of a sudden, now it won't play. I mean, what are you saying? Yeah, that was Pacho and Gangnam Style. Let's welcome our guest, Paul.
Yeah, Paul. We already met him. Hi, Paul.
Hey, Pacho.
Hi, Paul.
Paul, let's get straight into this because we tend to ramble a bit. What's going on? You're promoting NASCAR or?
We got involved with the circuit in the U.S. A few months back, so we're reaching out to internationally now to be able to invite drivers, especially from the Philippines and around the region. It's going to be held on March 1 to 3 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's the NASCAR Racing Experience World Circuit, and it's participated in by around 8 countries. We are looking at a field of around 15 to 20 drivers, 4 from the U.S., involved with the NASCAR diversity program. So the Philippine team has been confirmed with 5 teams of 2 drivers each. The veterans lead that, Mike Potenciano and Carlos Anton. Very historic for them to step foot in NASCAR. We have a younger team of Tyson C. and Stefano Marcelo, who will be up against the prodigy of NASCAR, which is Kyle Larson. We have a ladies team of Gabby de la Merced and Pia Boren. And then we have gotten letter of intents from two teams just today, which is the team of the Bumgarners. Michelle and Mark will be taking time off from what they're doing in the U.S. to be able to join in. And then Tom Pastor's 2 sons, Enzo and Don, have also signed the LOI. So I think it's initially we were actually looking at only 2 teams from the Philippines. But it was because of Mike, and Mike said that it should be an interesting idea to open it up to more, so that it could possibly be a uniting factor for the motoring fraternity here. So we're pretty happy about it. We're on our 3rd briefing right now. We started a lot of the announcements on paper, in the news. And gearing up for training. A lot of the teams are arriving a week before at Charlotte Motor Speedway. None of the drivers, including the US side, have actually raced in Charlotte, so it should be an equal field. However, the US team has the oval track experience.
So this is not a NASCAR track, a functioning NASCAR track.
This is the biggest functioning NASCAR track.
But no teams have raced there because
the teams which are participating in this event are new to the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Are you talking about, just so I understand and the viewers understand, we're talking about the actual NASCAR vehicle?
This is the entry level. This is the entry level side of NASCAR. In the NASCAR ladder, the one on top is called the Chase Nextel Cup. And then second to that, you have the Sprint Cup, which is actually the more popular one. That's the one which is shown on ESPN right now when you turn on your television.
Like how many laps is a Sprint Cup?
Sprint Cup, Mike would be a better person to answer that, because I don't get too technical about it. After that, you would have, I believe, the Truck Series. That's on the 3rd layer.
So PK Jr. just won a race.
The 4th layer would be the K&N Series, but the K&N Series is a developmental series, same as this one. But it actually uses smaller type cars and races in smaller type circuits as opposed to the NASCAR Racing Experience circuit. Then below that, I think you have the Wheelan Series. So there's different NASCAR brands leading towards the Chase Nextel Cup. So this is the entry level circuit. So
do they look the same?
This is actually the only, I would say this is the only circuit in the US which uses the Sprint Cup cars itself. So these Sprint Cup cars are 865 horsepower. These are the cars which are going to be used by the Philippine team. The winner, we have a NASCAR Sprint Cup car draped in Philippine flag colors waiting at the factory for the winner to compete in the World Circuit. we are very excited about it, very optimistic about it, because it's the first time that a concerted effort by the Philippine motoring fraternity is being done to participate in a global event, and participated in by, I would say, a majority of the groups among the racers. So I think that, in a sense, is actually already a big thing. Then at the same time, there might be a lot of surprises, because NASCAR has always been a US-centric sport. It has always been perceived as something which is just really accessible in the US. And it's really only now that they are really seeking more global participation. And our program basically is subsidizing heavily the Philippine team. So we look forward to seeing everyone there. Yeah.
Well, that's pretty awesome. So what's your involvement in this? How did you get involved in this?
Okay, well, our foundation is based in Singapore for so many years.
What's your foundation?
It's under the Families Monosco Foundation. We actually are one of the owners of U.S. professional sports properties. We have stakes in the American Basketball Association now. We have Race Time, which handles the NASCAR Racing Experience World Circuit. The Indy Series, which will be the Spirit Cup Indy Series starting next year. And then we also own the Formula Green Series, which is the electric racing series. We have involvement in golf, U.S. soccer, power boats, and the 2XU Marathon. So a lot of what we do raises much needed funds for the less fortunate in the central Philippines, and a lot when it comes to educational support and medical missions and stuff like that. So we use our sporting events to assist the country in our own way. But it's propelled the foundation to new heights, because we now have ownership with global brands, and what we do with it is creating wonders for I guess for the sporting fraternities over here.
That's wonderful. That's incredible stuff. And I mean, just like to have Filipino racers just join us there in a series as popular as NASCAR. It's the most popular series.
Yeah, actually, it's a lot of people have been talking about it since we've launched, but again, a lot of money has been put into the ownership stakes in all of these. I also currently chair the American Basketball Association in the U.S. We have 85 teams, including grassroots teams, 25 elite teams. The racing platform is a heavy investment for us. But it's not as fulfilling, me being Filipino also, it's not as fulfilling to be able to see a Philippine squad there participating, carrying the flag, being an inspirational and aspirational platform for...
How are you planning to make money or raise money out of this if it's such a heavy investment?
Well, we have our own revenue streams on how this is done, but the centerpiece of that is at the time when the U.S. economy dipped, I personally looked into troubled leagues and circuits, which I could turn around. A lot has to do with restructuring the franchises, how it works, and be able to look at the clauses which bring in everything from ticket sales, merchandising, licensing operations, all of these. So it makes money. Payback period is not as good as doing an acquisition of a 3-5 year payback company, but I think it's doing well. But again, that I would say that we win some, we lose some. We have some. Probably our most profitable platform right now would be in basketball. Mm-hmm. I would project that in the next year, racing would overtake that, and we're involved with the a yachting yachting event right now, which we've acquired from a U.S. firm, and I think that once it's brought into the region, that should also. It's a very not everyone does it.
No, not everyone does it. Well, I think
Not everyone does
I
it.
think
yeah.
we stand a better chance. Well, our best chance is motorsports, really, as
Yeah.
far as Filipinos are concerned. I mean, we tried basketball. That hasn't worked out. It's been a long time. Yeah. I think we can say we gave that a fair shake to try and put us on the worldwide map. Paul, we're gonna have to leave it there because we have a couple of guests to get through, including our next guest, who is actually going to race in the NASCAR series. So what we'll do is we'll just play a quick video, and when we come back, we will have Mike Potenciano, who will be talking about his involvement in actually racing in the NASCAR series, and that's just coming up straight after this video.
I'm like a little girl.
I was racing because I love to race, and I just wanted to race. For us, Castrol has been a long-time supporter of motorsport, and I think that history of experience, the high level of technology they have, the experience they have is something that always benefits BMW.
Very good. Fine.
It has to be the very best. Otherwise, you as a driver, you do not have the confidence in the car and the pedal to push to the limit. And what these guys give us is a great fluid.
Fantastic, man, it's so fast!
I just want the best product for the car.
Sideways around the corners. That was incredible.
I want to go as quick as possible, and it seems that Castrol can deliver that for us, which is great.
That was certainly a highlight there. That was about last year, I think, or year before, the Castrol Edge experience. That was extremely fun. But that was just to introduce our next guest. Nothing to do with him, but we just needed a video because it's awful when you see people do this. You try to climb over the table, and this is the stuff.
Needs no introduction.
He needs
He's a very popular
exactly.
guy.
He needs no introduction,
Yeah.
but we just wanted to make it better for him. Mike Potenciano, welcome to the show.
Thank you,
Hi, Mike.
Yeah, long time no see.
It feels odd because you're usually on the other side and guesting us or other people.
Yes,
and
I miss Lindy.
yeah.
Come over here,
Okay,
Lindy.
on his lap, Lindy. We're running a very tight, very, very tight studio here right now. So unfortunately, we can only take one guest at a time. But Lindy, I'm sure could sit on your lap. Nobody will mind. Nobody will
Crazy
mind.
James.
But you know what, James? I'm really happy for Mike, because I remember a few months ago we were on a trip to you were in Cebu, right?
Right.
For Toyota Road
Toyota,
Track, and
yep.
you were saying that you really want to race
Again, yeah.
and you were telling me stories about MP Turbo,
Yeah.
everything, and now you're gonna be racing again
Yeah.
with the teammate, which is Carlos Anton.
Mike, would you consider, before you answer that, would you consider this up there with your AF 2000 level of racing? I mean, if you were going to measure your the
Yeah.
highest level of racing that you've done?
That's true. I think, yes, James, first, it's the first time ever that NASCAR will do something like a World Circuit. You know, even lend its name for doing it for basically new drivers from around the globe. So this is something new, that it's going to be an inaugural event, and it might spin off to become, America versus the world in the future. And we're just happy that we have Paul Muñozca, who is head of the Spirit Fund, that has invested in NASCAR racing experience, that didn't bypass the country and launched it here. And we got the best drivers so far in this in the event, and we're looking for more.
Really?
Pacho, you should be one of them because I think.
So you guys gonna be using the sprint cars? I mean, the series, the one with the 800 horsepower.
Yeah, 865 horsepower.
That's a lot of
Is this
horsepower
an
for a
easy
left turn.
transition compared to the other racing?
That's a lot of horsepower for a left turn. Huh?
It's insane. I was asking him, how's the transition from this car? Well,
yeah,
But
basically.
Mike, do they look the same? I mean, is it like a
I haven't seen one yet up close.
Okay,
I only
okay.
see it, right there in the monitors.
But in the
TV.
picture, it looks like a NASCAR.
Yeah,
Like it looks like a stock car.
Yeah, if you look at the history of
NASCAR.
NASCAR, it's a stock car racing of the States, which is they came from the full size car. They downsized what is called downsized to medium-sized car, but it's still bigger than a Camry. Bigger than all of these things that we have.
so it's
here.
gonna be different.
So it's like your Lexus LS model would be the size.
With 800 horsepower, that's insane.
Hard compound tires, heavy cars at that.
Heavy cars, drum brakes or this?
No.
Left spring.
Hey, they were still running carburetors, I'm sure.
Now it's been upgraded.
It's all
upgraded or-
up until what, last year or year
Yeah,
before?
just this year.
No,
Just
that's
this
embarrassing. Sorry.
No, but the Americans love that.
I know, but come on, it's like
that's
And
old,
yours,
old
Jurassic,
track. Yeah,
man.
that's
Your
Jurassic.
countryman is there right now.
Juan
Yeah,
Pablo.
Juan
Pablo.
And
Yeah.
Nelson Piquet, well, he's Brazilian. He's not.
Yeah.
He won his NASCAR truck race.
recently?
Just recently. He just won.
Oh, that's great.
So that was pretty good.
Have you ever had experience, James,
NASCAR?
driving a NASCAR?
No, I haven't, but I have had experience in an oval, and I can tell you, it is not as easy as it
not
looks.
easy, yeah.
It's scary.
Yeah, with
as.
that banked,
Yes.
we'll be driving in Charlotte Motor
So
Speedway.
that's what I was gonna. How do you qualify for this? I mean, not you yourself. Your track record speaks for itself. But you have. What about everyone else and how they qualify to know that they can drive this kind of car?
Well, we'll have a 4-day training up before we race. And
Time zone or?
in Charlotte,
Okay.
itself, yeah.
Okay.
And what's nice
PlayStation.
we will have lapping with good drivers. And then we do a proper 20-lap race with an all Filipino Spirit Cup, and then the top 4 Filipinos move on to the World Circuit race.
Wow.
Oh.
Mike, how many more drivers do you think you need, and how do they get in contact, or how do they qualify to do this? You mentioned.
Yeah, we have Paul has reserved 15.
I'm
teams.
busy that weekend. I just want you to know. But I mean, in theory.
We'd love to have you.
You have a media challenge?
I think you qualify already on the gentleman drivers level, which we have attracted actually quite a number.
Yeah.
And they're all there because it's the inaugural event. Everyone remembers the first event. And then what's nice is you'll be given also your own helmet, suit, shoes to bring home.
And how long's the
All in
race,
Philippine
Mike?
colors.
How long's the race?
It will be a 40-lap race, 20 each for each driver. And a team is composed of 2 drivers each.
And how long's the lap in Charlotte?
Charlotte, it's only a 1.5-mile course. And Lee Baumgartner said he stays there. It's less than a minute going around the course.
So it's gonna be quick.
He tried the racing experience there before, and he did already 150 miles on just, and he was scared. He said, But when he rode with a race driver, they were already up to 200 right away.
MPH.
Yeah, MPH.
Yeah,
200
no,
miles.
it's
So that's
absolutely no.
320 kilometers per hour.
Yeah.
You know what, Mike? We sadly, because of the way the show is right now, we're going to take one at a time. So we have to wrap it up here. But we'd love to have you back on the show when you go through some more stages of it, because we'd love to support this fantastic endeavor of yours.
Very.
I think to bring our local drivers into any international level of motorsports. I've always supported it because I think we really naturally excel at this. We now we see Marlon Stockinger making waves in GP3. just put the right equipment underneath the Filipino driver, and well, all you have to do is look at EDSA and you see they are opportunists, and they will get far. So, Mike, I'm sorry we have to leave it there at the
No
moment,
problem.
but
Yep.
we will have you back on the show when we have more chairs.
Okay. Yeah, more
And we will
To accommodate Lindy.
to accommodate Lynn, and we will talk, and hopefully you can bring Carlos Anton and the rest of the team. Would love to do a Philippine team special.
Yeah.
So for now, thank you so much for coming to
And it's still going to be March 2013.
March 2013. We'll be keeping you up to date. We can be the official webcast TV show for NASCAR.
Yeah.
You see there, he has no say in it. And he laughs now, but wait till he gets the bill. Has no idea. So what we're going to do is we're going to play a very quick video, and we're going to come back with our guest, Dennis
Dennis
Uy.
Uy, yeah.
Thank you very much, Mike.
Okay,
All
yeah.
right.
Nice to see
Wait,
you,
don't get
Mike.
up yet, because it's going to look awkward. We're going to see if we can get this this video going here at the moment. And this one you really have to see, Mike. This is Pacho auditioning for.
Oh, for the
yeah,
Gangnam.
Gangnam. 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Open Gangnam Style.
Where's Pacho there?
There, the one wearing the cowboy hat.
Oh, in the
Open Gangnam Style. Open Gangnam Style.
And it happened anyway. Wait, let me just play another quick video, just in case you missed that. We'll just play a very quick video. We were too busy laughing at Pacho. It's going to happen that people are going to cross in front of the cameras. Let's play. No, we're not going to play that again. We're going to play this perhaps, and yeah. Okay. Let's.
Okay, bye.
And there we go. Finally, we're back. Woo!
We're back again.
Welcome, Dennis Uy.
Dennis Uy, how are you doing, Dennis?
Wow, this is like a factory.
Senor.
The new media factory. This is the new media factory where we just bring one guest in after another.
Yeah. So many guests.
You know, they should take. It should be like a relay with the baton. They should hand the baton to the next guest. Like, oh, your turn. Go, 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 go. Well, we love to talk about things that are fast, and this is no different. Dennis, you're gonna have to say this in 4 minutes.
Hey, that's how much you guys are loud.
No,
and
we can always
no,
extend
not
James.
just that. Poor Dennis has been outside, and you should see the waiting room. It is dangerous if you like Apple products. How much are you down?
3.
$3 grand? Okay. The last guy,
In 10
Attorney
minutes.
Eves was down, I
Yeah.
think 15. He's an Apple junkie. He loves his
Yeah,
Apple
okay.
stuff. Dennis, you came here to talk about
Well,
your
basically,
new series, right?
Yeah, the PTCC that has been that was not run last year, no?
Yeah. Why was that? Well, what happened?
Well,
What did Pacho do?
he sort of, gave a bad light.
Yeah, I remember his heated.
He changed the rules.
Yeah.
He changed the rule. I don't. Okay.
No.
So
We were trying to merge, no, the current GT races with the PTCC, but apparently there are a group of the old racers who are still look well. One is, of course, when you categorize the GT, that's more of the Grand Touring, so it's more on the upper scale racing, no, which is more expensive.
Yeah.
PTCC has always been there to try to bring motorsports to the average Filipino racer wannabes.
okay.
Putting it like a stepping stone for them to hone their skills, and if they have intentions of running abroad, at least they were able to participate in the series that is a national event. AAP last year saw the regression of the grid and decided that maybe it would be good to try to see if we can get PTCC back in motorsports and try to get the old racers to come back.
Okay.
So what we did is we formed an association. It's called the Philippine Race Car Drivers Inc. And with that, that's also to separate AAP being the series owner and supposedly the governing body for the technical side of it, separate from the organization.
Okay.
That's why it was handed over to the Race Car Drivers Inc. for the organization and promotion.
So this, in theory, means they have more say in the
No,
technical
they
regulations,
on the
or-
commercial aspect.
Okay.
They don't meddle in the commercial aspect. It's more of the technical, running the race, the rules, and it's confined to that.
Okay, so when are you looking at kicking off? The
Well,
first-
it's kind of late for our
Yeah.
promotions here, but I guess it's worth doing it. It's gonna start November 3 and 4.
it's gonna start. What
3
time
weeks
is it
from
now?
So that's why I texted you this morning.
And we're taping a week in advance, so that means it's starting
Well,
tomorrow.
basically, our first race
It
was last
yesterday.
weekend.
No, we're just kidding. So November 3 and 4, this,
Yeah.
this show will air. We are. What's the date today? It's the
20 something.
25th, 24th.
Yeah.
It's the 24th. Play along. Just play along. Play along.
No comment.
Yeah. Less questions, the better. So okay, how many do you have on the grid?
Right now we're looking at about 12 to 13 on the 200 division.
200 is
When
This
you
is 2
say
liter?
200,
Yeah. Well, okay. Let's redefine PTCC.
Yeah.
Before it was classified or categorized into two. No, you had the Group 1 and the Group 3. Group 1 was more 1600 normally aspirated with a little bit more modifications for the faster guys. Then we had the production class that was concentrated on the bone stock production engines for the starters. Right now, what we did was we kind of like tailored it also to the existing GT races so that the cars will be able to participate in both series eventually without having to change the setup too much.
Okay.
So, but we only limited our grid to a 200 division, 200 horsepower, and 150 and 100. Unlike the GT, they have the 300 class.
Okay, so now there's Circuit Showdown. There's the TRS Cup. Then there's going to be PTCC. What's going to distinguish the three? I mean, obviously, I think TRS speaks for itself. It's a one make.
Yeah.
But now Circuit Showdown and PTCC, how do you differentiate yourselves there?
Well, PTCC has always been known for the being the national championship.
It's basically a national championship, right? And then it's a FIA.
Yes, it's an FIA sanctioned
And
event.
then the Circuit Showdown is not.
It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am not so sure about their relationship with AAP, but AAP being the governing body is the only one who can actually authorize professional motorsports events that is sanctioned by FIA and controls the safety.
Who are the big names in there now?
Actually, right now, the grid, the guys that are going to participate would be you have the likes of Joey Perry, you have William Tan, then you have Arnel Carlos, Enzo's Enzo's
Really?
running. Yeah.
Okay.
We have also Yuli Maninding, who used to be
So
racing.
these are all familiar names.
Yeah.
They're all the old hats. And
When you look at the grid, or
it's
the
like you never
hardcore
left.
racers-
Except Jody Cosateng, I guess.
Well,
and,
Jody participated in the GT, but I'm not so sure. He was planning to participate PTCC, but with the turn of events, I'm not so sure if he's going.
Okay, all right. So that's November 3 at Clark or Batangas?
Batangas. The first leg would be November 3 and 4. Second leg is December 1 and 2.
Okay.
The third leg would be January 12, 13.
All in Batangas?
No, that's Batangas, Clark, and then the last leg, February 9, 10 in Batangas. again.
And the boom round will be when?
All. PTCC has always been rubbing and, Pacho should know.
That's very exciting stuff. Now, it's who are the major sponsors of the event?
For this year, we have the participation of Cubao tires through Tiara.
Is this
commercial.
controlled?
Yes, it's
Control
a spec tire. We're going to be using the Exta KU36
Okay.
with a thread wear of 180.
Wow.
So it's more or less like the Neovas in terms of
Performance.
thread wear and performance.
Wearing performance. All right, fantastic stuff. I noticed you're wearing your main sponsor shirt, Cubao. Do they have the Euro 4 or diesel? Are they bringing in that, or do you know if they're bringing that? I know only the independents are planning to do it.
Well, for a time, I think I'm not so sure if I was able to discuss with Pacho last year, but they were already bringing in Euro 4 diesel.
We were able to do some testings
Yeah.
on Aeroplus on the dyno.
You went.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and what are the advantages or disadvantages or?
Well, on something good, is okay. What happened on fuels is, if you try to be more environment friendly and everything, you normally gonna sacrifice horsepower. Okay, when we did the testing, we did not sacrifice any horsepower, 0, and it has a lot less sulfur content.
It's better for your engine.
Yeah, it's better for the engine, better for the environment, and then increases in power were minimal, but at least there were some.
Well, that's fantastic. Dennis, unfortunately, that's all we have time for.
It's okay.
I hope that covered most of it.
Well, it's just a start. I'm sure you guys will be.
We'll be supporting it by sure, but definitely before December 1, we're going to have you back on the show to
Sure.
just talk about the next round
Sure.
and all the first corner incidences. And
If Pacho runs, you'll hear a lot. He's the only one we're waiting for to register.
Well, Dennis, thank you very
Great,
much
thank you,
for
thank
joining
you,
us.
thank you.
And
Dennis, thanks.
once again, we've hit our own checkered flag, so that's all we have time for this show. Today, October 24.
Yeah, we're broadcasting here. Don't forget
We're
behind.
broadcasting here.
Beyond the
Technically,
Box.
From Brazil.
I'm in Brazil, but they are beyond the box.
One Rockwell. It's the studio is called New Media Factory. So invite your friends, tell your friends to log on to nmfnetwork.tv so you can catch the show just in case you haven't seen it yet. Or you can subscribe to our podcast.
Yes,
Counterflow.
or don't forget, you can always join our Facebook page, Counterflow. It's the best way to interact with us, not just on the show, but during the week. We take your questions, we read them live when we're live. And so always that's a good time to get a hold of us. So join the
There you
page,
go.
tell your friends. Till then, drive safely, everyone.
Okay, God bless. Bye bye.